So I'm going to start this video with a few main pointers because a lot of the time people will write comments and then later on in the video I'll actually answer their comments, the questions they're asking in the comments. So I'm going to start with the fact that we waited till I was 12 weeks because of my previous pregnancies. One topic, pregnancy where it was apparently half in the tube, well not right up in there, but not enough in there for me to require surgery and blah 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 and yada yada. I've explained that already, but because of one ectopic and my miscarriage that I had before my appendicitis, it was vital for us to kind of wait to make sure that I didn't miscarry again and nothing went wrong, and so we waited till 12 weeks to be on the safe side because it was just hard to come to terms with, and it was more so not only to be on the safe side but for me and Niall as well, because it's kind of quite a private thing and it's quite close to your heart, and even though I'm quite a public person, there's a lot of things that I need to kind of come to terms with before I go public about certain things. So that's why we waited till 12 weeks, and it's also considered the best thing to do really. A lot of doctors and nurses and midwives will recommend that you wait till a certain stage to announce your pregnancy, just in case anything goes wrong, because then not only do you have to deal with it on your own, but you have to explain to your families, your friends and everybody what went wrong, and that can be quite painful for the parents to go through. So that's why we waited till 12 weeks. I also wanted to say that this was not a planned pregnancy, but considering various doctors told me after my operation that I may struggle to conceive, I personally see this as a blessing, not as a curse. Also, I'd like to address some negativities in a little bit in this video, like a few things that people have said that I would feel like I kind of personally want to have a little bit of a say on. I don't want to just let slide. A few people have been incredibly negative about this, but we'd like to say thank you so much to the people, our friends and family that have known about this for quite some time and supported us during this drastic, life-changing experience. It sounds like I wrote that all down. I didn't write that all down, but it did sound a little bit scripted. It wasn't. But yeah, it's so crazy talking about this still because it's still hard to sink in, and I've got a little bit of a bump going on now, so it feels more like I'm actually pregnant. But at the same time, it's this is so strange, because obviously it wasn't planned. I'm going to start with the fact that after my operation, I was told by the surgeons that came round, after my operation to let me know what happened and blah, 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 blah. Obviously, I've been very, very, very lucky to have made it, which you all know if you've watched my surgery video. But one thing they mentioned was everything looked good there in my reproductive system, but one thing they did mention was obviously that the infection in my pelvic area, because of my appendicitis, they couldn't detect whether or not that would cause fertility issues for me. But they said that my tubes looked fine, and they tested them with dye and all of that jazz, so everything looked good. And a month later, it was a month later, I got clarification from the doctor that, things weren't marvellous there, but they said that, we still think you'll be able to conceive, but, and I was like, but, and then they were like, you may have struggle trying to conceive in the foreseeable future, blah-de-da-de-da. So it's kind of like, wait, 1 minute you tell me I'm fine, the next minute you tell me I'm not fine, what the hell? And they told me that I had to wait till November to go on the pill, blah, blah, blah. So my form of contraception was condoms. And I normally find them to be quite reliable, to be honest. I always believe that you should be protected, blah, blah, blah. But look what happened. It's weird as well because the month that I got pregnant, I didn't have sex with him. Wow, that sounds weird. I didn't have sex with that boy. But yeah, we didn't have sexy time while I was ovulating. Now, you can get pregnant, obviously, when you're not ovulating, apparently, but they say that there's only 5 open windows during that month where you can actually conceive. And obviously to be told that my likelihood of conceiving was low now, when I've been told that everything was fine, on top of that, wasn't ovulating when I did the deed with Niall, plus I can count how many times on one hand that month that we did it, and each time we were protected. So it's not only were we protected and careful, and didn't do it when I was ovulating, and I saw him less that month than any other month that I see him, and it was just crazy. It was so weird, so against all odds. And another thing as well is what they told me about my uterus and all the boring details. I won't bore you with all the details of what was wrong with my uterus, what's right with your uterus. But basically, when they scanned me, the very first time to confirm the pregnancy, they had to confirm that it wasn't ectopic, and it wasn't ectopic. And then the second time, they checked to see if the heartbeat had, everything was fine, and everything was fine. My tubes were fine, my womb was fine, everything was fine, and miraculously, somehow, the problem they thought existed didn't exist anymore. Like, I think that's absolutely crazy. Another thing that's really, really weird that kind of makes me feel even more so that this baby was meant to be is the fact that my due date is the 28th of June, and I was admitted into hospital this year on the 28th of June, and I was incredibly ill, and then on the 29th was when I had the scan, and when they decided to do my emergency surgery and operate on me. And it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like, the due date would be a day that used to fill me with dread. Like, when I think about it, it's like I'd get anxious and I'd feel sick, and that date just gives me the shivers. And anyone with anxiety will know that sometimes little things can just make you feel sick. And hearing that my due date was literally that day I got admitted to hospital, and meaning that the baby could come a day late, and it could come to exist on the day where my heart went on the table and I almost died. And it's just like those days where I was so ill, in so much pain, on that table and everything, that I'm going to be creating a life. Like, well, the life is created, but a life will be coming to existence. And it's weird to know that my firstborn is going to be born like around the time where I almost lost my life, like a year afterwards. And that, to me, I see as a blessing. Like, nevertheless, I do not see it as a curse. And a lot of people have been a bit, oh no, this and that, and I'd like to address a few of those things in this video, just so you can all kind of come to grasps with this pregnancy, instead of just assuming that, oh look, we tried for a baby, I'm pregnant, oh hey! That is not how this happened, guys. Like, I was not careless, but at the end of the day, this baby exists now. It has a little heart, and it's a part of me, and I feel blessed, and I feel responsible for this life going inside of me. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I don't know, I wasn't really planning on this because I wanted to focus on my career and things like that. But just the way that everything has turned out, I do not have the heart in any shape or form to terminate this child just because it's a slight inconvenience. Because it's like with my life and how I came to be, which I'll get into a little bit now. It's like I actually kind of wrote a few notes, which I want to talk about in this video, because I'll be looking over here, by the way, because that's where my notes are. But I just wanted to address a few things because a lot of people have been leaving me comments on my Instagram page and, in various places, and I am so grateful for all of the support. I was in tears when I uploaded that video yesterday, and I got so many congratulations and so much love from like all over the world, and it made me so emotional. I'm getting emotional thinking about it now because I feel so blessed. I feel so blessed to have you guys there to support me. And you shouldn't really rely on people, obviously, on the internet, but like, I don't see it like that. I kind of see it as like I have like a select family that have been talking to me and communicating with me through my videos and through my Facebook page for the past 3 years. Like, I've gone from being a crazy, colourful teenage clown in college doing art and music to progressing through university and becoming an adult and going through so many different changes in my life on this channel. And it's so crazy, like, to know that you guys have seen me at my lowest, at my highest, when I almost died, when I was in college, when I was silly and I used to like hide behind my bed, come out with different makeup and then go back and wear like a top hat and everything, like all of my transitions and how I've changed, and everybody's been here to see that. And I'm not saying everything's about me, blah blah, but I've met so many people on this channel that I'm so grateful to have met. For example, my friend Ellie. We text like nearly every day now, and she subscribed to my channel when I had about 1,000 subscribers, and we text nearly every day now, and she lives in Wiltshire down south, and we've not met yet, but hopefully we'll meet someday. And she's pregnant as well, and she went through a lot of harsh times, she miscarried as well, and now she's finally like, oh my god, she's like 20-something weeks pregnant, and everything's like perfect, and she's having a little boy. And I just wanted to say congratulations in public. And I'm getting all emotional because my hormones are everywhere, but Ellie means a lot to me because not only is she a good friend, like, you know, to me that I appreciate and that helps me through so much to this day, but if it wasn't for this website, I would have never met her. We would have never connected. And it's just, I feel so blessed to have met her. Like, I feel so blessed to have met many of you. You know, I've got so many friends in different places, and it's like a lot of people, they see the number of subscribers they've got, and they're like, I've got 11,000 subscribers. Or they're like, I've got 50,000 subscribers. And a lot of people see their viewers in a way in which there are numbers and comments and thumbs up and like, subscribe after my video and things like that. I would be lying if I said that I didn't jump up in joy if I hit like a milestone, because when I hit 20,000 subscribers I was like, holy shit, who the hell is watching my videos and enjoying them? And I know that a small percentage of the people on this channel are probably just watching it to be like, she's a dick. But nevertheless, I feel so blessed. It's like, I'm kind of grateful that I haven't like got a ridiculous amount of subscribers too, because it's so much easier to reply to comments, and it's so much easier to like, you know, connect with my viewers as opposed to if I had 50,000. And if I do come to ever have that many subscribers, it's like, I don't even know how I will handle having so many viewers, but I'll try my best, you know, to communicate with people and still reply to a lot of comments and things like that, because I feel like YouTube should be a community as opposed to just being a popularity contest, which it seems to have turned into. But I'm kind of going a little bit off topic. I just wanted to say that I'm so overwhelmed and thankful for all of the positive comments. I'd just really like to address some of the negative ones. I'm addressing some of the positive ones, obviously, as well, but I've kind of answered quite a few of those. Actually, we'll start with the positive. I've changed my mind. Let's start with the positives. So positive-wise, everyone knows my due date is the 28th. And as far as I'm aware as well, like, I found out yesterday, like, on the day that I uploaded my news, so did X-Sparkage. Congratulations! Congratulations, Leisha. I wrote a comment on her video, and then she replied to me and was like, Prego twin, and I was like, oh my god, fangirl. That's creepy, isn't it? If she ever watches this, she'll be like, wow, that girl is creepy. But like, I was just like, oh my god. She's due the day before me. It's so cool having someone to watch go through their pregnancy at the exact same stage as you. Like, we're a day apart. What are the odds that one of the first YouTubers that I subscribed to, you know, that inspired a lot of my makeup and things like that, like, is pregnant at the same time as me? I think that's crazy, but crazy cool. So it's like, in a way, I think that'll inspire me as well to continue with my pregnancy vlogs, because I'll be watching hers too, so that's pretty cool. So I say, congratulations, Leisha. A few people have asked if we have names. We do have names. We have a name for a boy and a name for a girl. I won't tell you the names yet, just in case we change our mind, but I will tell you. The middle name of the girl, if it's a girl, will be my Yaya's name, in honour of my Yaya, who is the closest thing that I have to a mother. That's kind of why I'm kind of like hoping for a girl, but at the same time, a healthy, happy, bouncy baby is all I want. I don't really care about the sex of the baby as long as, you know, it's healthy and happy. It's my main priority. And I'm trying to think of a few things that people have asked. A few people obviously asked, are we going to find out the sex of the baby? Yes, we are. We're both so impatient. A few people have said, like, oh, it's Niall want a boy or a girl? Niall wants a boy. He really wants a boy, but he's like, it's a girl. I know it's a girl. And I'm just kind of like, it's probably going to be a boy. My sinking feeling is saying girl because of the spots and the sickness. Because of the spots and the sickness, my like intuition is saying girl, and something's just telling me girl. And I've been having all these vivid dreams, and I'm going to make like a video on some of the vivid dreams that I've had, and I wrote down the week in pregnancy I was when I had these dreams. But to say like a little tiny segment is, I've had this vivid dream that's reoccurred twice, and it's been a little girl in a red coat. And it's like, little girl in a red coat, I don't know what that's supposed to symbolise. If any of you guys know, let me know. But it's weird because that kind of tells me, it makes me feel like it's a girl, but I don't want to say, oh yeah, I think it is a girl, and it be a little boy. A few things that I'd really like to address on the negative front is, people already think they have a right to judge my unborn child. Shame on you. And I don't personally think that that's fair, considering my baby doesn't have, like, you know, well, it's missing a lot of vital things at the moment anyway, because it's still growing, but it it has no idea what YouTube is. It has no idea like about people or things or anything. And for people to say horrible things to me like, your baby will be a mistake, your child will ruin your life, when it's an innocent, defenseless jelly baby at the moment the size of a kiwi. And for people to say these horrible things is ridiculous, because it can't defend itself. The only person that can defend it is me, and I've never met him or her, but I feel like my maternal instinct is like, back off my bloody baby, leave it alone. What did it ever do to you? Nothing. But a few things that are really grating me at the moment is obviously like that one of those comments that said that your child is going to be a mistake. It's like, it's like it has a heartbeat, it has a personality, and it's a living being just like you or me. Another thing that's been grating me is people have been saying, oh, but you and Niall aren't married, like blah blah blah. And it's like, if you think about it, if every single person that conceived on this planet that wasn't married, that out of wedlock conception and aborted their child, how many of you people watching this video wouldn't exist? Think about it. It's not the right reason to get rid of a baby, and the people that say you should be married, how dare you, are the same type of people that are against termination. So work that one out. It doesn't really add up. There's no point making someone feel guilty about something they can't change, and that's something that I know, that I follow. And I feel like you should treat people the way that you want to be treated, and you shouldn't say things to people unless like you want that person to say something equally as nasty to you. And most of the time people that say these things are very close-minded individuals that actually have no proof to their pudding. And I think that's an important thing for everybody to know, not just for me to rant about. But if every child was aborted, you know, that was conceived out of wedlock, it would be insane and morally screwed and flawed in so many ways. I personally believe that we all have equal rights, and I think that a woman should have the choice whether or not to keep or abort her child. And personally for me, I'm not really keen on the idea of abortion. When I had to give up my first pregnancy because of where that baby was, it was heartbreaking for me. Heartbreaking to have to do something I was so against, and that's just me personally. But I do believe that people out there, especially women, have the right to decide what is best for them, and for some people, the best thing for them, you know, in their eyes, is to terminate their pregnancy. I do not agree in any shape or form with anybody terminating, like, you know, in the second trimester, and that's illegal, and I think that's morally flawed in so many ways, you know, when the baby has a heartbeat and a head and it's kicking and it's doing all this. I just could not. That is, personally for me, I could not do that. I could not do that. But some people have health issues and have no choice, and that has to be taken into consideration. These little things need to be taken into consideration, and I think that people need to think before they speak. Also, another thing that I'd like to address is that I know that when you put this sort of thing on the internet, there's going to be traditionalists that, you know, attack you for not being married. And like I've just said about the marriage thing, it's like, do I want to get married someday? Sure, like I'd love to get married. You know, I don't really want a big fancy like wedding which costs thousands and thousands of pounds, and a massive elegant gown, and 10 million photographers, like, and to be filmed and put on ITV and all this crap. No, I'd never be on ITV, but what I'm trying to say is, for me, if I ever get married, which I hope I do, personally, I'd like to get married someday. I'd like to get married on Mount Bonnell in Texas, with All You Need Is Love by the Beatles playing, select amount of family and friends, close-knit, you know what I mean? Like, I'd like to have quite a private wedding. I probably would record it and stick it on YouTube, which kind of like makes no sense, but does make sense. But for me, when I get married, it's going to be because the time is right, you know what I mean? Like, but as far as I'm aware, Niall doesn't need to do anything to prove his love for me, because he doesn't need to say anything or stick a ring on my finger, you know, or we don't need to even rush anything. We do not need to rush anything to prove our love for one another. That boy rode to the damn hospital every single day while I was there. He was there before my operation, he was there after my operation. And I know that he loves me, and I do not need him to rush around and prove it to the whole of the nation. Bit of an overestimate that, Jess, but I don't need him to prove it to anyone but me. And I don't even feel like he needs to prove it to me, because he's already proved it without trying to prove it. what he does naturally is the proof that he loves me. And he's showed that he's loyal. He has never cheated on me. He's never looked at another girl apart from Scarlett Johansson. Weirdly, I look at Scarlett Johansson. Because Scarlett Johansson is so pretty. But yeah, he doesn't need to prove it to me with marriage. Like, would I marry him? Like, if he asked me to? Yeah, I would. But no way, shape or form, would I rush to get married before my baby is born just so it's, not born out of wedlock. Why would I put that pressure on myself? Like, I think it's a very 21st century way to think like this. But a lot of people that are traditionalists are going to, be like, oh, you should be married, oh, this, oh, that. But I don't think that a little piece of paper is going to make a difference to whether or not I am a good mother to my child, whether Niall makes a good father. Any of these factors, I do not think they matter in any shape or form. I want to tell you guys a little story. I'm sorry I'm ranting on, this video is already 20 minutes long, but a few things that I just wanted to address, and there's a true story I want to tell you, so I'm going to start telling it. So my parents weren't married when they conceived me. My mum was 17 when she got pregnant with me. She did not have a job. My dad was in a dead-end job. His dead-end job paid peanuts, and they could have easily got rid of me because I was a massive inconvenience. They didn't have any money, and, everything pointed towards abortion with me. Everything. They were too young, and they weren't married. But they gave me a chance to live. And if they didn't give me that chance to live, I wouldn't even be speaking to half of you right now. And I don't want to, go trumping my own trumpet. But there are people that I've reached out to and helped. And I would never take any of that back. But if I didn't exist, who would have helped these people? I'm not saying I'm Mother Teresa. I'm not saying I'm Jesus. But everybody is here for a reason. And if you think that you're here and you have no reason to be here, you're just so wrong, because we all have a reason to be here. And we've all come onto this planet for a reason. We all have meaning. We all have a point. There's no such thing as a pointless person. And there's no point in thinking that you are a pointless person and that, nobody would miss you if you were gone and that your existence is, pointless, because it's not. But when I was born, my parents were pressured into getting married. Now, you've got to remember that my dad, English white boy, my mum, Greek, with Greek traditional parents, and my Ayam Bapu had an arranged marriage, and it strangely worked out because they love each other, and, some arranged marriages work. That's why I'm not entirely against people, with religious beliefs with arranged marriage, because I do believe that sometimes it can work. But my parents were pressured into getting married, and, even though they're happy for quite some time, eventually down the line it ended in divorce. And there's no such thing as saying, well, we're married, we've got this piece of paper, we'll be together forever. Because you can just get a divorce. Like when you're with someone for 5 years, you can just break up. There is nothing that holds down a relationship or can keep it to the ground apart from a promise that you make with each other, to each other. And that promise should come from your heart, not from a piece of paper. It doesn't really matter if you've got a ring on your finger or not, because nothing will guarantee that you'll be with your spouse for the rest of your life apart from your love that you have with your spouse. Out of their time together, me and Nathaniel came to exist, and I think that me and my little brother have a purpose, and I love him to pieces. He's my little dude, and it's like I feel like we have a point to be here. We have a reason to exist. Unfortunately, they weren't meant to be. My mum and my dad. But I do believe that me and Nathaniel were. Just like I think that my baby has a purpose. I don't know what that purpose is yet. But already, the idea of having someone that loves me unconditionally, it's like someone to give all of the love that I never felt to, feels like a purpose in itself. You can't predict the future, but considering the fact that my parents were a lot younger than me when they had me, and, in a worse position by far, and they managed. They put food on the table, they put a roof over my head, I got educated, I had hobbies, I had lessons in things, all of these things. And I don't feel as though, because of the position they were in, I was any less off than another child. Some materialistic objects I wouldn't have had, but if it wasn't for the lack in materialistic objects, I wouldn't have been so creative to, use my imagination to have fun and, go out and do things and be creative with my art things, make things because I couldn't afford to buy them. You know what I mean? Would it have been better if my mother was older when she had me? She did give birth to me when she was 18. Pregnant at 17, had me at 18. Would it have been better if she was older and wiser? Would it have been better if she had done more with her life? Perhaps, but what a lot of people fail to realise is we are all unique, and the journey that we go through to purely exist on this earth with, it's so much more complicated than you can think. People just think, oh, well, we have sex and here comes a baby and, oh, it's a bit of an inconvenience, let's abort it and we can just make another one. No. Every single, like the cells that meet and create such a unique DNA, like explosion of insaneness is different. Like, every single life is different. It's been made different. Science is fascinating. And one thing that fascinates me is the fact that, like, we're all so different. And I could have a baby now, and then you've got this baby. And then I have another baby, it'll be completely different. It'll have a different personality, it'll look different, it'll go on to do different things with its life, and I can't predict any of that. And if my mum had chose to get rid of me, I may not even have ever existed. I may have been like a tortoise, I may have been like an elephant in Africa, I could have been anything. Because it's the soul, isn't it? It's not the human being itself. I wouldn't have looked this way, I wouldn't have acted this way. I would have lived a completely different life. I could have been a fly, I could have been anything. You can't get rid of one life and just replace it instantly because we're all so different. And that's what's fascinating. And I've already done so much with my life that I would just like to reiterate. I've travelled, everything I've got, musical instruments, like, makeup collection, things I've got in my life I've worked for. Being like, a teenager earlier on in the economy we live in today where it's hard to get a job and all this stuff, I still worked my arse off to do other things, to get experience so I could still make money. And I'm the kind of person that works with what I've got and, I make the most out of it. And it's like I started with nothing and I didn't end up with everything. But I've started with nothing, made something, lost something, made something, lost something. And life is a journey. You have to appreciate every single day that you've got. You need to appreciate the sun rising in the morning and then the sun setting at night, and be appreciative that you get to see that every day because you're not blind. Be appreciative that you've got ears developed enough to listen to music. Appreciate the fact you're not deaf. My operation changed me as a person, and you all know that. It made me appreciate things in life even more so than I already did. And I just want to say that if people are going to judge me for making this decision, judge me solely on facts, not instincts, not what you see, and the slight glimpses of me that you hear, but judge me on the person that I am. When you meet me in real life, if you ever meet me, judge me on how I greet you, how I treat you, how I speak to you. Judge me on things that are real. This is very real, and when I speak to my camera like this, like I said, it's not scripted. I wrote like a few bullet points here, but not scripted. And there's so much more to people, and people need to give people a chance, and I'm going to give this life that's growing inside of me a chance, because already it's life, and it's doing somersaults and stuff like I saw on the ultrasound, and it's already doing so much, and it's going to be able to hear things and feel things and everything. But we all start off in there, all of us. And no one has a right to turn around and tell me I'm going to ruin my life. How would you feel? My mum turned around to me and said to me various amounts of times that I would have done this if you didn't exist. I would have accomplished this if you didn't exist. But my mum made me. She made the conscious decision to keep me. And you can't envy your child for how your life turns out, because it's an innocent life. And I know for a fact that I'll give my baby everything I possibly can. Could I be in a better financial situation? Definitely, because at one point in my life I was at university and I was earning £45 an hour doing my modelling, doing my makeup artistry on the side. I had lots of money, a lot of money. I had my operation, everything kind of went downhill a bit. I don't see this purely as a coincidence that I'm in this position because of the date of my due date coinciding with my operation date, the fact that I was going to have problems with conception, and the fact that I didn't, and the fact that my womb looks fine now when it didn't. All these things. And that's why I feel like this life is meant to be. And like I just said, like I've tried to explain, could I be in a better financial position? Yes, but I'm not in the worst financial position either. What I'm trying to say is, let me worry about the safety of my child, the roof over my head, the food on the table. Let me worry about a security net for my child financially, which I know that I can provide. And let me worry about these things. Don't get on my case about these things, because no point. Like, what are you gonna get? Nothing. But I'm not addressing all of you guys, because I know that a lot of you guys are supporting me and are there for me, and I really appreciate that. I'm gonna start crying. So, I'm gonna go before I become a teary mess, but I just wanted to say thank you so much, and I wanted to get a few things out of the way, like, address a few things, and I'll talk more about how I found out and how I felt when I found out in another video, but for now, bye!